Hello, hello. All right, so I don't have much time. I'm actually on a break in an IEP meeting. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP, and I help parents like you become knowledgeable and confident to become the CEO of their IEP meetings. I'm excited about this series. All right. And the reason I'm excited about this series is because it is so important, it's essential, and without it, an adequate and appropriate IEP cannot in any way be made. Okay? So without it, again, I'm going to repeat, an IEP that is adequate, individualized, and appropriate for your child cannot in any way, shape, or form be created. So if you're doing anything and having, for example, all right, in certain states, I won't name those states, Texas, that where they do these review of existing data, where if they haven't even done the data, meaning they have never even evaluated this child other than this revolving read. Oh, we have enough data of our observations and our subjective expert opinions on your child. But we haven't done anything formal on them. No, there's no need for that. What? Okay. So, IEP assessments and evaluations series is starting now. All right, here's number one. What we need to talk about is why IEP assessments are so assessment. Why IEP evaluations, I can talk, and assessments are so essential. Okay? Before I get started, post a 1 below, just the number 1 below, if it is your first through third time catching me live. If it is your third plus time, post a 2 below. Make sure to say hi, tell me where you're from, what state, etc. You can tell us about your kids. If you haven't joined my group at Autism Mama Rocks IEP group, make sure to hop over on Facebook and join that. If you are joining on the group, make sure you click. You can see the clicker kind of going, and it's like https://streamyard.com/Facebook. You want to go there and you want to just click it, I think is what Facebook makes you do. And then I can see your picture, the circle picture. Hi, Brittany. How are you? Welcome. How are you? How are you? Long time no see. Okay. So the first thing, they're essential because you can't create an IEP without it. All right. You have to have formal evaluations. You have to know where your child is in comparison to other children. Not that we compare our children. We don't. We shouldn't. I mean, please don't compare me to anybody else. Be you, right? Our kids are going to be them and be who they are, as amazing as they are, right? I mean, my daughter's taught me so much in life, I can't even tell you. And it's because of her disability. So I want you guys to understand that let our kids be our kids. We're not comparing them to people in regards to their personalities and things like that. But we want to know where other children are that are within their age and grade and how they're doing these evaluations, okay? And people will argue this one. They'll say 25% is average, but is 25% really average? We'll get into that. All right, we're going to get into everything pertaining to evaluations. And when I say that, pass this on, share this, because I'm going to go through almost every evaluation out there. Maybe not every single one, but almost all of them. Okay? I'm going to tell you what they are for. Okay? So for example, if the assessment is, for, let's just say, comprehensive and cognitive assessments, all right? I'm going to talk to you about all of those. I'm going to talk to you about nonverbal cognitive assessments. I'm going to talk to you about math, reading, oral expression, spelling, written language, listening comprehension, social, emotional behavior, all right? Kind of the broad band there. I'm going to talk to you about the narrow band there with social, emotional, and behavior, okay? We're going to talk about self-concept and those assessments. We're going to talk about adaptive behavior. We're going to talk about attention. We're going to talk about memory and all those, okay? Short, long-term working, etc. We're going to talk about visual processing, auditory processing. We're going to talk about phonological processing as well. We're going to talk about sensory pressure and measures. We're going to talk about fine motor coordination. We're going to talk about gross motor coordination and all of those assessments. We're going to talk about language development, fluency and articulation. We're going to talk about pragmatics. We're going to talk about, oh my God, we're going to talk about so much. I love talking about assessments. We're going to talk about autism rating scales. We're going to talk about OHI and everything that falls under that. We're going to talk about learning disabilities, okay? And what falls under there, dyslexia, etc. We're going to talk about all of that and how most states now are required to be evaluating dyslexia. We're going to talk about all of the test names. I'll give you the authors. I'll give you the publishers. I'll give you the age ranges. I'll give you the test type. And I want you guys to pay attention to this because it's so essential, okay? If you guys don't know how to read and understand what evaluations are being given to your child, you're not going to get an appropriate assessment, okay? Because a lot of times they'll want to do inappropriate assessments so you don't get the right data, and then you don't know how to argue it, and then you're in this big mess. And then you don't have proper present levels, you don't have an adequate IEP, you don't have an individualized IEP, and then you're totally screwed. All right. So assessments is the very beginning. That's what you have to do, not just at the beginning for the initial, but you need to do it throughout and not every 3 years. That blows my mind. It really does. We'll get into that too. And why I say the things I say, there is a reason and there is a method to my crazy madness. All right. There really is. I'll talk to you about the laws when it comes to assessments, okay, in reference to IDEA and in reference to different states and the minimalistic laws that may be a little bit deviated from IDEA, but not by much, okay? And we're going to talk about tools. We're going to talk about a child that is bilingual and a different language is their primary language. What happens then, right? And making sure things happen in the appropriate way and things are done in the appropriate way. And who gives that assessment and is bilingual, number one. And that test is able to be given in that way. Okay, so stay tuned. We're going to be talking about all of this information in the coming days. I'm more than likely going live after my meeting that I have to get back to now, but I wanted to give you guys a brief little teaser in regards to everything that's coming about assessments, because it is where you have got to be. All right. You have got to talk about assessments. You have to know about assessments. You have to know how to read assessments. You need to know how to argue the assessments. I'm going to tell you what I do. Okay. And guess what? I'm going to kind of travel that into my membership. So you're going to find out even more. And we're going to get into the real nitty gritty of it. Okay. We're going to talk about receptive verbal language. We're going to talk about nonverbal intelligence. We're going to talk about verbal intelligence. We're going to talk about cognition intelligence. We're going to talk about expressive language, receptive language, expressive nonverbal language. We're going to talk about auditory discrimination. We're going to talk about so many different types of evaluations that maybe you didn't know about. And maybe it could solve a problem that you may be dealing with today. All right. So stay tuned. I will see you guys soon. Hey, Shelly. Hey, Kim. Hey, Brittany. Make sure you post your questions below if you have any. And when I go live again, either later today, if not tomorrow, and we're going to just get going. We're going to just jump into it and run. Okay. And we're going to talk about those assessments, and I'm going to cover each section, and it's going to be tons of fun. You guys are going to get a ton of information. I'm going to travel it into my membership, which you guys have got to not pass by. It's cheap as dirt. And you're going to be able to get video from me. You're going to be able to get, talk to me personally on Zoom. You're going to be able to, hear video or audio of my IEP meetings. And you're going to get all kinds of stuff. Okay. Of course, approved by the parent. Okay. And in a lot of my meetings, names aren't even mentioned. Okay. It's the student. Okay. So, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right. So make sure you stay tuned. Post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Post your questions and I will be sure to answer them as I get going with the series, because you're going to have questions and you're going to, now have a wide variety of different assessments that your child can have that may solve those problems and that puzzle that no one's figuring out of why your child's not making progress. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Hi, Sally. How are you? Bye-bye.